Previously on ShitFlix.
I want to make new Spy Kids film.
No.
Please?
No.
Please?
No.
Please?
Alright.
Please? Oh.
So how much money do you need?
7 bajillion billion.
Now.
How much can I have?
A little bit.
Okay, how much time I got?
You have all the time in the world.
Fuck!
Yeah.
Well, that sure was a wacky time!
We'll have to make time for that more often.
It's time to move on.
Oh. Okay. We watched a movie today. Do you want me to say the title?
No.
Okay.
Spy Kids 4. All the time in the world.
All the time in the world. Today we have with a special guest star, Zach Geschwilm, who may as well have watched the movie today.
Though he came and watched the last 10 minutes.
Last 10 minutes. It's all he needed to get the gist of it. Alright, should I just... Okay, two things before I get into the plot. One, that opening flashback thing at the very beginning, it is actually part of an episode. So...
Go watch it.
Yeah. Click on the screen. Or that card thing. Whatever YouTube's doing.
Callbacks for the long-time fans.
Second
loyal people out there in the dark.
You'll know what the episode was if you're a
People
true
who remember
fan.
why I was on here last time. Yes, you.
Jim.
Jim. Fucking Jim.
Second thing. Spy Kids 4, known as the reboot-ish of the Spy Kids franchise, brought it back from the dead. After 7 years? 7 years.
I don't
Came
know.
out in 2011.
Yeah. You did it, Rodriguez.
What is it? No, I'm sorry. What is it with Rodriguez bringing back franchises that have been dead? Like, he did it with Spy Kids, and he did it with Sin City because he waited so fucking long for it.
I think he only has like 3 original ideas. Machete, Sin City, Spy Kids, done. Over.
No.
Sin City's not an original idea.
Sin
Oh,
City
true.
was,
Yeah,
that was Frank Miller.
So 2, never mind. Alright, plot for
He's
Spy
got more
Kids.
original ideas.
Spy Kids
I'm waiting
4.
for that.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
That new. No,
I love that movie.
it's
Shush.
not his.
I know,
Guys,
it's Tarantino.
chill.
but-
Oh, sorry.
Chill. Plot. Alright. The plot of Spy Kids 4. Fuck, what's her name? Jessica Alba. Jessica Alba is Marissa, a spy at the OSS, but she's pregnant with her kid, and she starts having, going into labor during an operation to catch a villain known as TikTok, who does time shit.
And puns. Lots of puns.
Oh, lots of puns. His biggest, I guess, thing is that
He's got great timing with his puns. by the way.
yeah, just the best. His thing is that he's trying to freeze all the time in the world. That's something you'll hear a lot. With this thing called the Armageddon device, which stops time, obviously. Jessica Alba stops him, but because she is having her kid, she decides to retire from the OSS, which is the spy agency. Fast forward a year later, she is trying to raise her single kid, along with her husband's 2 kids, who she's a stepmom to, named Rebecca and Cecil. Jesus Christ, I've never been more unsure of anything.
I completely forgot him again. Like,
Okay. Rebecca and Cecil, these are those 2 kids. A whole lot of nothing happens. The husband is host of a show called Spy Hunters, but he doesn't do much of anything throughout the entirety of the
How the
movie.
world he got the show in the first place is
Yeah,
beyond me.
no.
He got it within a year. That's pretty impressive.
Oh, I thought he was an actual spy hunter.
No.
Based on.
He's a reality TV show.
Then how could he do that wicked cool?
Fuck if we know.
Okay, anyway,
And
all right, yeah.
that was the only scene that he did it in.
And then TikTok escapes, and a new villain known as Timekeeper comes forward, and they're planning on using the Armageddon device to stop all the time in the world. Jessica Alba is called out of commission in order to stop him, but she can't.
Because apparently no other fucking agents exist in
None
this.
of them. But then her kids get involved, and they are greeted by former Spy Kids agent Carmen Cortez.
Well, not former.
Alexa Vega. No, former Spy Kids. She's not just
Former
Spy.
Spy Kids, yes.
So she's called in by Carmen
Oh, she's
Cortez.
not kid anymore. She's legal.
Yeah. Machete kills for anyone interested.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Then
The sleaze flow.
beyond that, then they just start trying to essentially take down TikTok because the necklace that they have is the only thing that could stop it, because it was a rock that came from space called the Chronos Sapphire. I really don't care at this point. There's a robot dog voiced by Ricky Gervais.
This was probably one of the most entertaining parts of
You
the movie.
think so? I disagree.
think
but
he
we'll
is.
get to that.
I think-
And then eventually they get to a point where they realize that the villain is actually the head of the OSS, the head of the spy agency. Oh my god, crazy.
Spoilers, yeah.
So then they have to stop him, because what he wants to do is he wants to open up a time portal to go back in time and spend all this time with his dad that he missed because he was frozen in time for like a century or so. Really, actually complex story, but nothing actually happened because they couldn't stop him. He got away with it, and he had to make the self-realization that it was, I couldn't go back in time. It was blah, 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 blah. So then they all got away, and the little baby from the beginning had her first steps and took out a bad guy because that's what they do. And that's Spy Kids 4, all the time in the world.
You know, the plot about the kid getting frozen in time.
Junie came back as well. Junie Cortez.
For a little bit.
For the very end of the movie. Okay.
But the backstory plot of the movie, the kid frozen in time and whatnot, that seems like something like right out of Christopher Nolan.
It does.
Like it had a very like what was it like the Prestige feel to it.
I likened it a lot to Captain America.
Yeah, I can believe that too.
But that was.
Why didn't you make a movie about that, Robert? That's probably the idea that you had originally, and you decided that you
did Inception come out?
2008.
No. It was 2010 or 2000.
No, it was after that. Yeah, it was about 2010.
Right.
Yeah, it was about 2010.
I'm thinking Dark Knight.
Because then the Inception one would make the most sense. Because
it does.
It came out, and Rodriguez said, "Hey."
There was a
by
couple
the way,
Inception
I've been
jokes we
looking for a
made
way.
while watching the movie.
Yeah.
So
I have an
now it's
idea for
Inception.
It's.
I can retool this Spy Kid script that I'm working on.
Okay, so what should we say? I guess the characters. Let's start with Rebecca and Cecil.
They're all bland.
Yeah.
They're all uninteresting.
They're,
Also, the very beginning of this
He's deaf.
movie, no,
yeah.
That is a character trait.
that's an interesting.
You have a
character
deaf
trait.
hero that
But
matters.
well, he's not really deaf. He's hearing impaired.
enough the hearing aids could help.
Yeah,
That's.
he can turn them on and off and turn them up and all that jazz.
But the fact of the matter is, though, when he turns them off, he's completely like no one can get to them. He's completely. So he may as well be deaf.
he might. I don't know. Maybe he's got
Anyway,
implants.
continue on with what you were going to say.
But I forgot what I was going to
Sorry.
say. Guys distracted me. No.
But no, Cecil.
No, that's what I was. Sorry. The opening of this movie,
Mhm.
I swore, with the jokes that they were making, you could probably find the same shit in a movie made by Freeberg and Selznick.
Oh God.
Like, I'm like, this shit's
glad I
right out
wasn't-
of this shit's right out of Epic Movie and
It
whatnot.
was bad.
I'm like, oh god, please, guys. Like, Rodriguez, what the fuck? You are a good filmmaker.
They were getting chuckles out of us occasionally.
There were a couple times that it was like legitimate, like full laughter.
And it wasn't laughing at something that we were supposed to take seriously. And
Yeah.
it was obviously supposed to be comedy. The one you missed, that we just got the biggest laugh of, was when Junie came back to the OSS. They did the whole reveal. It's like, and I'm telling Agent Cortez to take up the lead on this mission. And Carmen's over there like, oh my God, it's it. Like, yes, he even came out of retirement. He? Doors open up. Junie walks in like, look, you can just imagine that one theme from Kill Bill. The ba 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 ticka tick. He's walking down. But the one thing that really got us to laugh was there was this one dude in the side of the crowd that when Junie walked out, he just, yeah!
One guy, and he was very audibly the only person who did it.
And he had
Like,
subtitles
yeah!
down at the bottom of, yeah!
I'm like, oh, this guy is a fan.
He really likes
He
Junie.
wants to get. He's gonna be. What is it like? what's the agent who in the Avengers who bit
Coulson.
Coulson, like, is Agent Coulson with like getting his card signed by the superheroes?
I got all the McDonald's Spy Kids toys.
Oh boy!
So let's see.
I've been saving them since 1999.
I wouldn't hope it's out.
We went over like the effects in this movie are better than 3,
Mm-hmm.
but they're still not good.
Yeah, which I feel like it's the same budget was used on special effects. It just more came for your buck nowadays.
Don't know. I mean, like, also the fact of the matter is though, Rodriguez.
It is more bang for the buck. I would advocate for that.
That's part of
it.
That's part of it. But at the same time, though, like Rodriguez has always been a filmmaker who he throws jabs at shit and whatnot. He makes movies that constantly nudge you in the ribs.
Yeah.
Basically, it's kind of like you're not supposed to take these movies seriously. Have you seen Once Upon a Time in Mexico? Like they have fucking machine guns coming out of guitar cases. Like, it is hysterical. But like, especially if you're looking at Sin City or anything like that, like, you can't take his movie seriously. But then again, there is a limit, and this movie pressed past the limit.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, Rodriguez, now you're just either A, you really don't give a fuck, B, you completely feel this shit is actually extremely funny, which I can't say one way or against it. That's completely subjective.
No, I mean, you could be well into your 50s and still think fart jokes are the pinnacle of comedy, but that's just a personal opinion.
But you know what? You know, all the best comedies that had those types of jokes in there, they had mostly better jokes.
They had other things
besides just
now,
you had so many fart jokes in this.
I think based on comedy, this is a good time to bring up the dog.
The
named
dog.
Argo.
Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais voiced the dog. It is a cybernetic guardian dog thing that's supposed to take care of the kids. He thought this was the saving grace of the movie.
Oh no, the saving grace.
No,
there was no
saving grace. In the beginning, we
we
were like, this is the only thing making it bearable. I thought, dear God, this is just going to be the guy who cracks stupid jokes every fucking 5 seconds in order to keep people entertained. He's the jingling of keys in front of people.
The moment he starts talking, you know exactly that's what's his role
right.
that's
But
going to be.
You were still saying you liked him even after he started talking.
I know, that's it. That's the reason that I knew exactly what I was getting myself into. I had my standards set so low.
I could. You saw him at the very end.
I have a question.
Okay.
When has Ricky Gervais, aside from a film in which he himself has produced, given a good supporting performance in an American movie?
That's a small thing, but okay.
No, because seriously, Ricky Gervais is one of the most important and influential comics of the past 15 years, and Americans don't know who he is. They don't. Because he keeps taking these really crappy, this is depressing to me. It really is.
What was that one they did? Invention of Lying.
But that was him.
That was a great movie.
He was part of the production team on that. He was one of the writers. I'm talking in a supporting performance.
I don't know.
I mean, it's just
The only thing I know, and I think it's a British show, but the extras or something.
Well, yeah, no, but the thing is that's
the first time I ever saw him.
Yeah, I know, but that's the only thing that I really know him.
I saw it. There's a Daniel Radcliffe episode on that.
For those of you who don't know, he's the guy who did the original Office. He's the guy who did the original Extras. Mm-hmm. He's the guy who did the Idiot Abroad podcast.
Oh,
all this is cutting edge,
on Netflix,
extremely funny stuff. And yes, Invention of Lying, and what was the ghost one he did with Teo Leone?
Oh, I know that one.
That's toned down, but still really, really good. It's just a shame to see him slum it so much. But then again, John Cleese has pretty much done the same thing with the majority of his movie career.
Well, even then, when you get into the
and
people,
Eric Idle and all those guys, but that just depresses me that
The thing is, and
we're not that stupid. We deserve better.
I've watched one or two of.
And then we'll get back to the movie.
Right. I've watched one or two of Robert Rodriguez's 10-minute film school things. Mm-hmm. And essentially, the way he was making it sound was, get as many favors as you possibly can under your belt with actors.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you look at Spy Kids 3, you got George Clooney and Sylvester Stallone in semi-leading roles. Sylvester Stallone especially.
Well, George Clooney was the leading role in From Dusk Till Dawn. That was during the time where George Clooney was basically viewed as untouchable in Hollywood.
Well,
So-
actually, that was his start, wasn't it?
Exactly.
No, because the thing was...
No, his attitude, it was more less about his acting prowess and more about his attitude on set. And Rodriguez couldn't handle him. And also, he had Tarantino on set. No one could outdo Tarantino in insanity. But
that the whole reason I brought that up was because that's sort of what
I don't think
I'm
he's
going
ever worked
into.
with Stallone, though.
No, he did. That was Spy Kids 3.
I said
No,
besides
prior
that.
to that.
Oh, prior, I don't know.
So I
But
don't
that's
think he did.
but I feel like he just.
I recall
Did him
reading
a
an
favor or
interview for the
something.
time that Stallone wanted to do a film for his kids.
There you go.
That might have been the
Hey,
motivator.
Actually, no, that's somebody else.
Anyway, the whole reason I brought it up was because they're not big name stars, but he had Jessica Alba in this.
She's big enough.
Yeah, but I mean, not like, she's low A-list, not like A, it's triple A-list.
Oh no, I remember her name.
Joel McHale, who at this time was big on Community, which that's not as big of a thing, but for people who are huge fans of Community,
Oh, yeah.
that's...
If you haven't seen Community, go watch Community.
Oh, yeah,
The new season's on,
Yahoo Screen.
Yeah.
and then, you guys knew him, I actually didn't, the guy who was the main villain.
Oh,
Jeremy Piven from
yeah.
Entourage.
yeah.
Okay, I
Who's
didn't watch
Ari, most famous for playing Ari Gold on Entourage, and he's by far the best part of that show.
him. Okay, well,
Yeah.
they got him as the main villain in this. All, like, 3 of them. That's the thing about time travel. You can play the same character
Well,
many times.
Tarantino's
He also
really
played
good
his
with Tarantino.
father.
Played his father, played
Rodriguez.
himself. Like 7
Rodriguez
times.
is really good with budgets.
Yes.
Really good with...
No, he's a fantastic
yeah.
producer. You can
Yeah.
tell that in all
He
of his
knows when...
movies.
But he keeps the costs relatively low, and he knows how to make his dollars count.
He also
and
doesn't
He
use
also knows
unions.
how to schedule so that he can get these actors.
He avoids using unions when he can, too.
So, okay, we've gone over...
That was a big upset with From Dusk Till Dawn.
A lot
Was the
of
fact that it was a $20 million movie that he didn't use unions on.
Oh, one thing I do want to go over is essentially, I don't want to say the stunts per se, but the gadgets. There's something that Spy Kids has always used, has always been very liberal with, is the spy gadgets.
Not this one.
Nah.
Also, the jetpacks make a cameo.
They had, yeah, but that's just it, a cameo. Everything from the original Spy Kids movie was in a room. It was just in a room that they said, here's all of our stuff. Boy, you sure wish you were using it, weren't you?
Yeah, Danny Trejo only has a freeze frame cameo.
Yeah, literally a freeze frame.
Yeah,
He is frozen in time as it pans by him.
He's wearing a lab coat.
Yeah.
But he's making gadgets that we don't get to see.
But that,
And how is it that these kids and whatnot are going only for the gadgets in the Spy Kids room and not going for any of the possible other gadgets around this building?
well, the thing is, they were locked in that room, and it was just available to them. I can understand that. The thing I
No,
can't...
they made their way to the gadget room.
Oh.
They weren't locked in there originally.
Well, even then, the only gadgets they were using were like the electrified bubble gun and stuff like that. And that's not normal spy stuff. But the problem that I have with it is they essentially opened it up and were just like, look, fans of the series, here's all the stuff you want.
We're gonna make merchandise out of this as well.
It's like, but we're
And
only
then we're
going
not
to use
going to
these
use
two
it.
things: power gloves and essentially the whip from Iron Man 2. That's all they used in the entirety of the thing.
And they left the whip behind.
Yeah, they just were like, all right, we're done with that now. And I'm sorry, and Cecil just got super strength. He had the power gloves things, and he's like, oh, I can punch through this wall, boom, and he can take out all these guys.
Don't
bam, boom, boom.
use your gadgets,
And then-
which I'm
yeah,
sure was a lesson.
They were like, don't rely on your gadgets. And then he took off his things, and then turned up his hearing aids. It's like, kid, that's a gadget. That's okay, whatever. But no, at the very end of the thing, they're flying all over this huge clockwork machine.
Which they never explain how that shit works.
Whatever. And a
Time.
giant cog is flying towards the kids, and he just goes, thunk, catches it Captain America style, and throws it back. And the girl even makes the comment of, you don't have your power glove things on. And he's like, okay.
It's like, nope.
Now, here's the thing.
Doesn't answer that
In
question.
Spy Kids 2, Island of Lost Dreams, they got telepathy with each other. Carmen and Junie got telepathy. And
I don't remember this, but maybe it's a good
They don't use it that often because they only very quickly used it in Spy Kids 3, where it was used so Junie could figure out where Carmen was. They don't explain that either. They just kind of do shit in all of the movies and then say, alright, well, that's a thing.
But how did the machine in the first one fucking work? Like,
The re-googleizing thing? Fuck, man.
None of this shit made sense.
Here, I've made a clay model of a face. Now I'm going to put it in here and restructure
You
it.
don't have to explain how things work,
No.
so long as, okay, there's a way to do that.
So long as they're consistent, I feel.
Yeah. As, like, for example, we get the fact, we don't ask how the death ray works in a James Bond film, we just accept that it's a death ray.
True.
The
It's
moon!
like,
Okay,
you know,
moon.
My issue with it is, okay, at the end,
Yes.
you have the time machine.
Mm-hmm.
They don't explain how it works, and this is fine. But the thing is, my deal is the big reveal that he's not going back in time, he's simply multiplying himself.
And then he
Spoilers.
does go back in time.
If you had been steadily building towards that revelation for the movie, that's the way a revelation should work. It should make sense in retrospect when they make that announcement, and then you look back over the rest of the movie in your head, it's like, oh, that makes sense.
Like, here's a good example.
And admittedly,
A
I
Beautiful
overcame it
Mind.
at the end. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably one of the best forms of twist reveal and whatnot. It's not even twist. It's like, you look back, it's like, oh, it all makes sense.
And even then, in The Beautiful Mind, admittedly, very different type of film, they didn't explain how, schizophrenia works, because they didn't need to. You get the gist of it. He sees things that aren't there.
We still don't even know.
You don't need how to explain it works, but you need to set it up structurally in the story. And the thing is, I came at the end, and I knew, based on what I had seen previously, that they probably did not set that up.
Nothing.
And so, that's my issue.
That Demario was, not Demario, Danger was multiplying himself over time.
No, not at all. It just came out of the blue.
Yeah. It's literally, as soon as they revealed that he was TikTok, that was the first time you had any sort of inkling. Oh, also, Cecil.
No, before that is when he revealed that he was the timekeeper.
No, but that didn't reveal he was multiplying himself. That just revealed that he was a villain.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with TikTok at that point at all.
Which was also when TikTok got revealed was right before everybody else got revealed too. So it was like it all happened at once.
But the very beginning of the movie, they showed that Cecil, in addition to having this super strength and ears that can hear literally everything with his hearing aids, he also
what hearing aid company he gets his shit from.
He also reads up regularly on quantum physics. He had a book of quantum physics, and that's how he was able to tell him exactly how his time travel thing would fail.
Do you remember that joke from Men in Black when I was like, yo, the little girl out in the middle of monsters with quantum physics book, she's about to start some shit, Zed. Like, that's what I thought about it. This kid is going to be like some catalyst for something horrible that's going to happen.
I want to watch that movie now.
Oh, it's great.
But no, it definitely seemed, and I could be wrong with this, but Cecil was like, he was doing everything. He was just taking everybody out. The girl, Rebecca, no.
She had her moments.
But what moments?
When she was whipping people.
She set up one prank in the very beginning, which got her stepmom. And then she set up a prank in the middle, which got a random goon. And that's it. That's all she did. And that's her pranker attitude.
I thought that was towards the end.
End of second act. Okay. But still. That's...
Dang, that was a short movie.
Yes!
Anyway, okay.
Okay, there's not a lot.
Well, that's one thing it's got going for it.
I mean, that's...
Okay, I guess
this movie was an incoherent mess.
Just final thoughts.
My whole overall...
Oh, wow. Okay.
My overall thoughts on this movie was simply the fact that I don't know what the fuck Rodriguez is doing. I don't know why he's continuing to torture us all with this. And yeah, you can say that we're not the right demographic for this movie, but you know what? It does not mean they can treat anybody that is watching this movie with such disrespect for their intelligence. Now, at the same time, maybe I'm taking this thing too seriously, but I don't really care.
Taking Spy Kids too seriously? Who's ever done that?
I know, I'm also going off of the older movies, too, and they're all tongue-in-cheek shit. I know your shit, Robert. I'm a big fan of yours, so I know your shit. But the thing is, this is inexcusable. Just saying.
Okay. Me? Okay. My final thoughts on this film. Ugh, I didn't...
That was good. It's like,
Yeah. Moving on.
Okay, well, you know, I can't improve upon
hold
that.
on. My final thoughts on this film. I don't very... I've rewatched the Spy Kids films moderately recently. So, I know the childlike wonder I had back then, and I know what I have now. Boiling vat of cynicism. But nowadays, Spy Kids 1 is just so meh in the way that it was hugely under budget, which I know that it was because how was he supposed to get a huge budget for that? It was so out of the box.
I think that was his first major kids film too.
Yeah, it
so
was.
People were like, "What the fuck?" The
It's
guy who did El Mariachi
Exactly.
was doing a kids movie. The guy who did From
no.
Dusk Till Dawn. I don't know how that's gonna work.
Spy Kids 3, God, he got a hold of some special effects package and he's like, this changes everything. And he didn't rely on
And
story
it
as
worked
much.
for Sim City. But anyway,
But
It worked for Sin
he relied so much on the gimmick of 3D and all the crappy sci-fi in a video game that it's like, just stop. Spy Kids 2, however, I stand by,
I
is
bet him and Zack Snyder
really
hang out a lot.
good. Not in the way of plot, but in the way of ideas that it does. It's great in the way of... I mean, the way that... What was it? All the Steve Buscemi's like merging together of animals and all that, and this island that has so many crazy things about it. It's insane, and it just sparks the childlike wonder even now. This one. Dear God, it only expanded my boiling vat of cynicism. The fact that this sort of movie can be made... and have the same title as Spy Kids. Just because you include the original Spy Kids does not mean it's Spy Kids. This isn't passing the torch.
It was like the last Hellraiser movie. It was like that wasn't designed to be a Hellraiser movie.
Like there was one line that they had in there. It was like, our stepmom is a spy. I was like, that should have been the title. Our stepmom is a spy, question mark, exclamation point. Right behind a talking cat. That's all I wanted.
I married an axe murderer.
I married an axe murderer?
Which is a real movie with...
It is.
Mike Myers.
Yeah. Mike Myers. It's a great movie.
But no, what I really feel about this is that the whole thing that they had to pull back the original Spy Kids gear and the original Spy Kids themselves and are reinstituting the Spy Kids initiative and all that. Why not just have the original Spy Kids? I know they're older and all that, but we didn't need new ones. You're bringing up old things from the past and it's making us pay attention to how stupid these things are from the past. If you wanted it to appeal to the generation that you did before, then make it slightly more adult. If you want to appeal to a new generation, don't include the old Spy Kids. One or the other, Rodriguez. Zach.
Well, you could have a passing of the torch moment.
But they
It would
didn't.
work, but exactly.
They had a, we still want the torch. We're still cooler than you.
Anyway, okay. I came in for what is apparently the second half of this movie. I thought it was the third act. That should tell you about structural problems right there. But okay.
Dude, the final giant fight scene happened halfway through the movie.
It did.
Yeah.
I am not hot on Rodriguez in the last, I'd say 6 or 7 years. But that being said, even way back when, after Spy Kids 1, I felt that when it was time, I was disappointed with Spy Kids 2. We can fight over this later. I felt that when it came time for him to do a kids film, it sucked. And this was around his like mid-2000s Sin City peak, and I've cooled towards Sin City. But no, it's just bad filmmaking. It really is. Scenes don't run together. It clunks, and it's supposed to be flow. It's supposed during the movie, you know when something clumps together. Like there's a freeze frame when the baby takes its first steps that is absolutely embarrassing.
No, it's not when it takes its first steps. It's when it kills its first victim.
And she goes to grab the baby, and this is it. Oh my God, let me. And then that's a major transition. I'm like, that's embarrassing. That's children's films. Here's the thing,
Reminds me of the end of the third Harry Potter movie. It was like, yeah.
Oh yeah, when he's flying off of the broom. He's like, yeah.
It's like, fuck you, Alfonso Cuarón.
Anyway, speaking of talented directors.
Well, he made Children of Men right after that,
I know,
too, so I'm like,
in the foot.
damn you.
Anyway, but no, it's children's films should be enjoyable for everyone. It shouldn't. I really don't. I've never understood the excuse that hey, it's a kids movie.
I hate that excuse.
And this is no exception. I've just I didn't have high expectations, so what do you know? It's just not worth your time.
And that's it. Time.
See you next time.
All the bad boys want some more, it's tricky. And girls enjoy, they feel so lucky. Loving it, quits running out that door. Calling their mom while they lick that floor. All the funky monkeys talking walking stores. They're lost side and rolling like a rubber cord. Who can believe that there would be some gold with those worms like I said before?
Speaking of From Dusk Till Dawn.